Hey there, folks, and welcome. The general notice you might be able to hear a bit of an echo because I'm in my own place. And it's strange to be doing this, to have the camera on at a new desk in a new room. Still sat at the rigs and waiting for a chair to arrive and the monitor arms, so then I can have different backdrops depending on where I'm sitting. That'll be fun. As you can see, I'm still in the middle of moving, hence why you can see like a suitcase there and a desk there that I was using to prop up my monitor till this fancy little thing arrived. In fact, I might try out one of the fancy features of this fancy old desk for the next segment. So without further ado, let's get into the general notice. Let's talk about the videos for the week ahead with twist. And that's because I can stand up now at my desk and record some more bits to do with the videos. Obviously, it's not perfect, but hopefully I can sort it out so that it makes more sense to stand up and record videos. Largely because I think once this is done, this will be a really nice backdrop to record things against. But for now, it's tricky because I'm standing in the middle of my rig. Alright, in terms of videos for the week ahead, we've got a lot of racing this weekend, so a lot of different things to outline. It's weird. I don't think I've stood up recording a video in actually years at this point. But yeah, I'm going to be previewing hopefully the Central European Rally tomorrow. If not, I'm going to have my review out for the NASCAR Roval, the end of the round of 12. Then after that, it's going to be the review of the United States Grand Prix. Hopefully the review for WEC at Fuji. 6 hours, so I've been watching that and I get some more time to watch it as well over the next couple of days. Then I'll probably do a Saturday review and a full rally review for CER. There's every chance that Thierry Neuville could be the champion this weekend in the WRC and we could have a new World Rally champion. And Hyundai could win the ERC and the WRC in consecutive weeks. That would be a lot of fun. Then on Monday, I'm hoping to review the next race in the NASCAR playoffs, which is at Vegas. In terms of streams, Porsche Sports Sprint Cup is back. It's Alton Park tomorrow, and then we have a finale next Tuesday at Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Next general notice on the 23rd, and actually, I think this has been a funny little gimmick to do, but let's sit back down get into the next feature. Because let's talk about the articles for this week. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Formula E. Because Formula E is going to have a women-only test at Valencia. As part of its pre-season testing program, Formula E is going to have this half day for women who are going to be entered by one of the 11 teams. Now, Formula E has done it before. The first one was in Diriyah, I think. Was it 2018, 2019? What I do remember about it was, as the race have described it in their article, I'll link below, seen as quite tokenistic. Because, well, this was only a couple of years after women were allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, each team is going to enter at least one driver. There are rumours that Formula E is apparently incentivizing teams to enter 2 drivers to get a full 22-car grid, which would be awesome. But this year's edition, yeah, could end up with 22 cars, especially because the last time we didn't even have the full complement of the teams. People already announced include the likes of Jamie Chadwick and Abby Pulling from the UK, as well as Sophia Flörsch, Marta Garcia, Jessica Edgar, and Chloe Chambers, who are names you might be familiar with. I'm surprised there's no like Jess Hawkins, Esme Hawkey, or Abby Eaton, but I guess it depends on the programs they're affiliated with. Now, some of these days have already got experience with F1 or F2 teams, or at the very least a year in the F1 Academy. But McLaren have done something a bit different and announced one of their more recent junior signings in Ella Lloyd as one of their entries. She's been doing a lot of British F4 this year, so I've seen her on the Toka package for the BTCC, alongside some entries for, well, F1 Academy. And this is a really cool opportunity because it's an ability for her to measure herself up against established competitors, people like Jamie Chadwick, who was the only ever champion of the W Series and been a race winner on Indy Next this year, and get even more publicity to hopefully help her up the motorsport ladder. Because the thing is, she is part of a direct development program. She's part of the McLaren program. It means you're more likely to be able to get through without having to rely on sponsors. But these new opportunities for new sponsorship never really hurt you. Maybe it's the start of another amazing thing for her. What I'm hoping to do is check in on this maybe a week after testing in November, like I'm doing with WRC and Beyond Rally. But let's get into my other article, which is about a different sporting series. Has a little bit to do with F1 as well, but has a little bit to do with the law. And it's an interesting one, because it's NASCAR's antitrust lawsuit. Very similar to what's happening with Andretti. NASCAR has a charter agreement, which is something that IndyCar has recently copied, but NASCAR started it way back in 2016. Basically, the idea is you buy a charter, you are guaranteed an entry. BTCC has it as well with what they call TBLs or something like that. But yeah, NASCAR has it for 36 teams. And the current agreement ends at the end of this season, and then the new one should start next season. Now, almost all the teams agreed to it, apart from two teams. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, who supposedly, I know FRM have, I think 2311 also confirmed to have bought an additional charter when Stewart Haas Racing was selling their charters at the end of leaving the sport at the end of this season. Supposedly, NASCAR already gave teams a matter of hours to agree to the final version of the agreement. And from what I've heard also on a Sunday night, at least that's what's said from someone like Richard Childress, the owner of RCR, which Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon currently drive for, and historically had Dale Earnhardt in the 3 car. It's one of the most iconic teams in NASCAR. And the lawsuit they're filing is about antitrust laws, which is something that exists to stop companies exploiting monopoly in the market. So, NASCAR is the only company that can sell you NASCAR charters, for example. They're the sanctioning body of the sport. America does have some strong antitrust laws. It has a bit of a history of this. And as somebody who is got a lot of background in American history, I've come across it quite a bit before. But it's not always enforced. The media age is especially where American law has been pretty poor on it. Take a look at how they policed Meta. Like, the ideas of wanting to break up the group that own Facebook, as well as WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Instagram. How that's been going on, because it's just like, oh, we're going to try our best, but they're always going to find a way around it. All the teams win out. I mean, I would have a look at what's going on with Andretti and F1, as the Andretti lawsuit against F1 is also an antitrust lawsuit. In the case of Andretti, it's how F1 upped its anti-dilution fund, which only really started to come into being a thing when Michael Andretti started sniffing around. And they upped it from $200 million to $600 million, and it only seemed like they upped it when Andretti got the Gamebridge funding from Dan Tyrus that was able to give them that $200 million. Now, NASCAR isn't doing that the same way. Instead, what they're being accused of is not meeting all the demands of the teams in negotiations, allegedly ignoring representatives from the teams, and forcing them to agree to a deal that some don't like at the 11th hour with a threat of losing their charge if they don't comply. I'm not really sure what will happen about this, and neither are most commentary channels by what I'm seeing. But I do feel for the teams more than the sport. And one of the deciding factors for it was I watched Slapshoes' latest video, in which he made an interesting comparison and allusion to former President of the United States and current presidential candidate Donald Trump, who won a lawsuit against the NFL under similar laws. And you can see from watching that video how NASCAR as a sport has consolidated itself over the last couple of decades and earned a lot more money from it. You could argue that in that context, NASCAR are being really selfish, but you can argue it. I'm not making any kind of claims here. What I am going to do is thank you for watching and joining. This backdrop is probably going to evolve over the next couple of weeks as I get more time in this flat to have a go at doing that. Some cobwebs start popping up on the walls. Big thing I'm going to deal with is that light, because you might be thinking, oh, it's the anti-flicker on the camera that's playing up. Nope. Got a dead dimmer switch in here. I'm streaming tomorrow. Gonna really bother me. Unless I play in darkness with my blue lights on. Reminds me I might need to pick them up if I'm going to do that. Alright. Thanks for watching, folks. Until next time. Bye for now.